Hi YouTube! Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my top 8 bags that I really recommend you buying pre-loved instead of going into the store to buy them. So this list is not going to include anything that is discontinued. I'm actually going to make a separate video on why I think the best discontinued bags are to buy. But let's get into it. And I'm going to work my way from the bag that you save relatively the least on in this list, even though it's still substantial, to the bag that I think you can really truly save the most on. The first bag that I want to talk about is the Louis Vuitton Capucines bag. I absolutely love this bag. You can commonly find it in the mini, the BB, and the MM. You can also sometimes find the PM, although they just don't make as many of the PM size of this bag in general, so you aren't going to find as many on the resale market either. Now, with this bag, the retail price for this bag is going to be a minimum of $4,800, going up to about $6,800, not including some of these special limited edition bags. So that's just the regular normal bags as well as the ones that have a little bit of python detailing on it. And not even talking about the full exotic bags. Now, you can save and expect to spend on the pre-loved market for a very nice condition bag somewhere between about $2,500 and probably about $4,000 to get like a brand new condition Capucines bag. So right there, you are looking at between a 25 to 65% savings on this bag. So I think with this bag, because you can save so much, it just doesn't really make sense to buy the bag in store. And that's something that for me gave me a lot of peace about the bag that I loved that was in store, that was a special limited edition. Knowing that I can save so much on the resale market, that gave me a lot of peace about not buying the bag in the store. Now, also moving to the next bag on the list, so number 7, is going to be a actual piece of luggage, and that's going to be the Louis Vuitton Keepall Bandolier 55. Now, I actually have this bag. Let me grab it. So this is my Keepall 55. It is the largest size that you can actually take on an airplane. And the reason that I say to get the bandolier is because it has, well, first off, it has this strap. But it also, if you notice on how there's this strap that goes down, it gives a lot more security and a lot more stability to the bag when you're putting weight on it. So I think this is a fabulous bag. I love this bag. This bag is from 1998. So, and I think it's from February of 98. So it is a wonderful bag. It is about to be 24 years old. It had, the leather was obviously darkened because it was older when I got it. There were a couple of scratches on the leather, there were some tarnishing to the hardware, but there really were no bad spots on the leather. The canvas is impeccable, and the interior was super clean, and I was able to pay with tax, I think it was $1,100 for that bag. So typically on the resale market, if you are looking at these bags, you will be able to find them anywhere from about $850 if you're looking on like Facebook groups, going up to about $1,500. No, that's not necessarily brand new condition, but that is in very nice condition. And that savings is going to be around 30% to 65%, depending on if you're buying it from a reseller, if you're buying it from someone personally, or the condition as well. But these bags new in the 55 size is going to be a $2,400 bag. And so I think that if you can get this bag for under $1,000 in nice condition, that is a fantastic piece to go with. And while I've never flown with this bag because I got it, I want to say it was in the first fall of COVID, so fall of 2020, I have taken on a ton of weekend trips, and I absolutely love carrying this bag. I have a video that I'll link above showing what all fits in it, but I think this is a really great option to look at pre-loved. Plus, then you aren't as worried about it since it is a piece of luggage without it being brand new, and you don't have to be worried about the leather. You don't have to be so afraid of a spot getting on it because it's new. By having that older bag, it gave me a lot more comfort carrying it, and I don't think that I would have gotten as much use out of a new one. Now, moving on to another just absolutely beautiful classic bag, and that is going to be the Dior. That's going to be the Christian Dior Lady Dior. And the Lady Dior was made very popular by Diana And I love this bag. I would love to one day own one. I just haven't had the opportunity to try on a size in person. But the Lady Dior's come in mini, small, medium, and large. The most popular size is probably the small right now. A lot of people do love the mini though because of the mini bag trend. A lot of people who like a bigger bag love the medium. These bags will range in price in store from about $5,300 to about $6,200. Now that obviously would be a little bit different if you're looking at an exotic leather or something with a ton of embellishment, but that's about what you would be paying in store for a Lady Dior. On the resale market, you're going to be looking between about $2,000 and $4,000, depending on condition, the colors, the embellishments that the bag has. So you are going to be saving about 40 to 60% on this bag. And that's a huge savings to me because a Lady Dior's value drops so quickly. It's the same thing with the Capucine's bag. Those bags, their value just drops as soon as it leaves the store, basically. And so that's why you're able to get such good deals on these bags. And it's also why I probably won't buy those bags new in store, why I will go to the pre-sale market, and why I really think that you should look at it as well. Now, a bag that's not as expensive to begin with, but does still have a significant savings on the resale market is going to be another classic, and that is the Fendi baguette. Now, the Fendi baguettes are probably the most versatile bag in terms of the materials that it's made of, the colors that it's made in, the versatility of the bag itself, as it can be carried as a clutch, as a handheld, as a shoulder bag, as a crossbody. It's a very, very versatile bag, and because there are so many different colors, patterns, and textures, there really is probably a baguette for everyone out there. And these baguettes, typically in store, are going to run you about $2,400 to $3,500, with $3,500 being for the leather versions, $2,400 being for the simple fabric versions. And on the resale market, you can reliably find these for about $1,300 to $2,300. And so that's a really big savings. That's going to be a savings of, again, 40 to 60%, just like the Lady Dior. And even though it's not necessarily the most expensive bag to begin with, if you can save that much money on the bag going pre-loved, it definitely makes sense to, at the very least, look into that option for yourself. Now, going back to Louis Vuitton, and Louis Vuitton is weird because a lot of their bags are some of the best bags for holding their value, but for some reason, some of their bags just don't necessarily hold it as well. And particularly with the material of epi leather that they make. I don't know why epi leather isn't as desirable in the pre-sale market, but it is a very durable leather. There is nothing wrong with it. It is super nice. And the bag that I'm really going to recommend looking into here is an epi leather Alma. So the Alma bag really comes in the BB size or the PM size. There is also, I think, a nano version now, and there may be an MM size as well. But the two that you're going to see the most are going to be the BB and the PM. And the Alma bag is one of Louis Vuitton's most classic bags. And so that bag is typically going to run you between about $1,600 to $2,500. But on the resale market, you can find these in good condition for anywhere from about $500 going up to about $1,000. And so you're looking at a savings of approximately 35 to 80% depending on the condition, how old the bag is, the color, the size of the bag. And you can actually find that same type of deal on the monogram as well. The issue being that a lot of times at the lower price point, the monogram Almas are going to have leather in really poor condition. But as long as it's authentic and hasn't been worked on by someone else, you can take pretty much any Louis Vuitton bag into the store and they will be able to replace the leather. They can replace interior linings. Now, they won't touch a bag if the canvas is cracked. They won't touch a bag if it has been worked on by someone else. So that's important to keep in mind if you're thinking about getting a super, super cheap Alma and that is monogram and then upgrading the leather vachetta. But I've seen a lot of people do that and have wonderful results. There will, of course, be a charge of several $100s. So think about that when you're going in making the selection, as well as the fact that Louis Vuitton is very, very backed up. I think it's about 12 weeks currently on getting work done on the bags and getting bags repaired. Now, the three bags that I think that you can really have incredible savings on is going to be coming from Gucci. And that's because Gucci in the past couple of years has really hit hard re-releases of some of their most classic styles. So the first bag, so number 3 on this list in terms of best savings, is going to be the Gucci Diana tote bag. Now, the modern tote bag does have a extra strap that comes with it. There are also quite a few different colors in it, and it has the neon colored straps that go around the bamboo handle that help them hold their shape. So that's slightly different than the older version, but the vintage versions of this bag are so incredibly similar. You still have the neutral colors like the browns, the tans, the blacks. You can even find them in leather and in suede. You just won't have that extra strap for the Diana. But if that's not something that concerns you, then absolutely look into the vintage version. I'm considering a vintage version for myself. I want to go in store to try the new ones on for size, and then I'll look into the vintage market. So new, these bags are currently retailing between $2,500 and $4,000. And that's not including exotics, of course, as that's not on this list because that's a huge price jump. But you can find these bags for around $500 to $1,000 easily. So you're looking at a 55% to 75% savings on these bags that you can reliably find that are in good condition. They aren't necessarily going to be perfect, but they will be in good condition, and you're getting a vintage bag, which I personally really enjoy. I think that a lot of times the vintage bags can have a higher quality, but also you save a lot of money for basically the same thing. Another very popular re-release for Gucci is going to be the Jackie bag. It's currently the Jackie 1961 bag, and it is retailing between $1,800 to $2,800 in the store, and you can find these bags. A lot of them you can honestly find between about $400 and about $800, but for some of the like super nice, basically mint condition ones, maybe going up to about $1,200. And these bags, you are looking at getting a savings of between 40 to 85% on these bags. And that's a reliable percentage that you're going to be looking at getting off. The biggest difference, I think, is that the hardware on the older versions does look a little bit older, but the silhouette's basically the same. The strap is not adjustable like the modern one is, but aside from that, they're basically the exact same bag as they did want to relaunch the Jackie. And I think that this is a fantastic option to go and look pre-loved, particularly since hobo bags are going to be such a big style this year. Now, the final bag that I want to talk about is the bamboo top handle bag. This is a super popular style, and it is a very popular style that they have introduced with a web strap now in the modern version. And you'll be looking at paying about $2,400 to $3,900 for that style in store. But if you go to the resale market, you can easily find these in the leather version. I've seen them go as low as $300 a couple of months ago, all the way up to about, I've seen a lot of them go for around the $600 mark. There's some that were like pristine that were going for about $1,000, but a lot of those bags you can easily find for around $500 in a vintage version. And it's the exact same bag, just without the extra web strap. And so that rounds out my list of handbags. I do highly recommend going through an authenticator just to give yourself additional peace of mind and security about the authenticity of your bag. So with that, I think that wraps up today's video. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this, and maybe you've spotted a bag that you've been eyeing in store that was on this list. And I highly encourage you to go pre-loved on those bags. So I hope you have a great rest of your day, YouTube. Bye!